All right, bet. Back in action. So you can get so impressed, so enamored with your current reality, your current state of mind, your current situation, that you miss out on the thing that you really, 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 truly want, right? And much love, big shout out to Yamila for sharing that, man. Brand new P2, and say that was a distraction for what she was doing that was paying her 6 figures. So I'm excited, guys. Another Monday. Drop a 777 in the chat box if you're feeling good. Today, drop a 777 in the chat. Drop a 777 in the chat. I see the 777s coming in. So, man, I'm so excited to be here, as I am each and every single Monday. And tonight, what I really want to talk about is the process of change, right? The process of change. I wish I would have had an apple, but I have a lemon. What's the most important part of this lemon? Somebody drop it in the chat. What's the most important part of this lemon? The seed. The seed. Another word that I would use for seed is the core. The core of this lemon is, I think, don't lemons have cores? I'm sure they have a core, right? So the most important part is the core. I wish I would have had an apple for this example. Apple would have been, or a pear would have been so much better, but I looked in the refrigerator, we didn't have nothing but this lemon. But I wanted to give you a visual, right? I wanted to give you a visual because most people work from the outside in and not the inside out. Most people work from the outside in and not the inside out. See, this apple, this lemon, you know what? Just imagine this was an apple. This might mess up your thought, but just imagine, because I'm going to call this an apple. This apple, if I were to take a look at this apple, and this apple was red, this apple was green, and there was no marks around the apple, there was no black marks on the apple just looked smooth. It wasn't super soft in some areas. It was hard. You know, it was a firm, nice apple. Right? I really won't know what this apple is truly about until I bite inside of it, until I bite into it. And see, most people's lives, this is why you can't get enamored by everybody's life that you see from the outside. From the outside. This is why, Cliff, you can't get enamored by everybody that you see on Instagram. You can't get enamored by everybody that you see on social media and what their lives look like from the outside. Because let's say I were to bite into this apple. Again, when I bite into it, that's when I would know what this apple, how it really truly tastes. When I dive into the inside of the apple, I taste the inside and I can begin to see the seed, the core of that apple. See, I work out a lot. Obviously, you guys know that if you follow me on Instagram. I work out 4 days a week, and I don't work out, how can I put this? The reason why a lot of people have, and this goes back to this. The reason why a lot of people have challenges when it comes to working out or changing any type of habit is because they have not identified themselves to the thing that they're trying to do. Let me make it plain for you. See, some people get up and go work out because they think that's what they should do. I work out because my identity tells me that I'm an athlete. Some people try to read a book instead of just becoming a reader. Some people want to, go out there and show the plan instead of just becoming a presenter. They want to promote instead of becoming a promoter. Is this making sense to y'all so far? See, you got to get to a point where the thing you've become, it's not that I'm doing the work to become a chairman. I do it because I am a chairman. Is this making sense to y'all? Because this apple here, when I bite into it, based on the core, based on the seed, that's going to determine how good this apple is. And some people, the success may look good on the outside, but when you bite into it, they soft. They have thin skin, not thick skin. They lack patience. They have, watch this, no peace at all with the process. Oh man, it would suck to make 50 grand a month and you don't got peace. It'll suck to make 10 grand a month and you don't got peace. It'll suck to be a platinum 5,000 or a brand new platinum 2,000 and you don't got peace. You know how many people like that in America, around the world, that have levels of success that look good on the outside? But man, when you get into the 6 inches between their ears and you tap into their mind, you get around them enough to hear the words that come out of their mouth, their language, you realize that, man, I'm going to enjoy my process because I want my peace. I don't want what your success look good, but I'd rather have my peace. Yeah, you moving fast, but I'd rather have my peace. Yeah, drop peace in the chat. I'd rather have my peace. Because it would suck to be like a Robin Williams, to have made millions of dollars, but you lack peace because the core, the inside of who you are has not been developed. It hasn't changed. See, there's 3 layers to behavior change. There's a change in your outcome, a change in your process, and then, watch this, the change in your identity. The change in your outcome, the change in your process, and then the change in your identity. See, how tragic would it be to try to change this lemon or this apple by just having the skin? You can't change it by having the skin. In order for this lemon or this apple to produce, to be different, it's going to start with the inner workings of this lemon / apple, the seed. The seed. So the core of who you are. Now, going back to working out, when I'm training, right? When I'm training, because again, I don't work out, I train. There's a big difference if you haven't noticed, right? So when I'm training my body to look like a specimen, right? NFL player, all-world athlete, that's what I work out for, right? I work out to look like, an all-world athlete, world class. So as I'm working out, as I'm training, one thing that you will realize is that the part of your body that gets worked out in pretty much every workout, every exercise that you do is the core. It's the core. Do you see how important the core is? The inside? See, when I'm squatting, my core has to be tight. When I'm bench pressing, my core has to be tight. When I'm curling, my core has to be tight. When I get down in my stance to run a sprint, my core has to be tight because the core is everything. So you produce from the core. So how's your core is my question. Because you produce from the core. Your results don't change from the outside. Your results change from the core. See, the result is the skin. Look at this lemon. This is the result. This is what you see. But the second layer, the layer that's under the skin, is more important than the actual skin because the second layer, that's the process. See, the result is the skin, the outcome. The second layer is the process. And see, okay, so the outcome, that's you changing your results. That's you losing weight. That's you adding weight. That's you winning a game. That's you going chairman, right? That is the result. That's what we see. That's what we want. But before that result can change, what has to change is the process, the second layer, right? And what this is about is changing your habits, changing your systems, because you don't rise to the level of your activity. You fall to the level of your system. You fall to the level of your habits. So you can work as hard as you want, but if your habits are not in alignment, then the work is null and void. The work is null and void. So the second layer, again, is about changing your habits, implementing a new routine, going to the gym, decluttering your desk, cleaning your room. See, watch this. See, what would you rather do? Clean your room every day or become a clean person? See, if I just change the result, but I don't change the system, I don't change the philosophy, I don't change the mentality, then I'm going to be cleaning my room every single day. So you can either get excited about cleaning your room every day, or you can just become a clean person. You can get excited about going to work out or train every day, or you can just put in your mind that I'm an athlete and I do what athletes do. Even if you're not, you act as if. You act as if. I just watched that movie Without Remorse. Michael B. Jordan. Great movie. Great movie. Loved it. I also watched Mortal Kombat. Great movie. Loved it. Y'all want to know something that those actors had in common? That's not who they are in real life. But they acted the role so well that they got you to believe it. They act like the person that was playing Scorpion. He acted the role so well that I thought he was really Scorpion. I thought he was really Scorpion. Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, no, not Malcolm, Denzel Washington. He played Malcolm X in the movie so good that for a long time, I thought that Denzel Washington was actually Malcolm X when I was a kid. That's how well he acted the role. So in order for you to get to the levels that you really, truly want, it's gonna come not from you focusing on the outcome. It's not gonna come so much from you focusing on the result. It's not gonna come so much from you trying to lose weight, gain weight, go chairman, whatever the case may be. It's not gonna come from that. It's not even gonna come from you changing your habits, changing your system, implementing a new routine. It's not gonna come from that. The third and deepest layer to changing is changing your core, changing your identity. See, that's the most important part. That's the most important part. See, your habits shape your identity. Write that down. Your identity is what shapes your habits, and your habits are what brings you your results. Your habits shape your identity shapes your habits, and your habits are what brings you the results. See, if you try to change your habits, but you never change the underlying belief that led to that habits, that led to that behavior, you can have a new goal and a new plan, but you still haven't changed who you are. Which goes to the greatest of all the earth. And he said that you can't put old wine in new wineskins, meaning you can't bring old ways of thinking into a new reality, a new lifestyle. But in order for everything to change, man, it's going to change when I choose to change my identity, or I recognize my identity. Because watch this, your identity is the North Star for habit change. Y'all remember slavery days when everybody would just follow the North Star? Yeah, see, that's your identity for habit change. That's your North Star, your identity for habit change. Right? So watch this. When a person, right, believes any aspect of their identity, did you know that they're more likely to align with that belief? When a person has identified themselves as this or that, because they've identified themselves as this or that, they will always act in alignment with this or that. Because I view myself as an athlete, I act in alignment as an athlete. Because I view myself as a chairman, I act in the alignment of a chairman. Because I view myself as a millionaire, I act in alignment with millionaires. It starts with my identity. But if you view yourself as a procrastinator, you will always you view yourself as a procrastinator as a reason to procrastinate. If you view yourself as late, oh, that's just how I am. You will always just be late because you've identified yourself. You've owned the identity of being late. I'm speaking to you from me. You can ask my wife. I'm good for saying, oh, man, that's just how I am. And I had to start thinking about, why am I like that? You ever thought about that? See, it's okay to be different. But it's another thing to know why you're different. See, people call me different all the time. Like people just respond to my story. They say, bro, you're so different. But I know why I'm different. You understand what I'm saying? I know what makes me different. So it's easy for me to identify myself as being different, set apart, not like the rest, because I know why I'm like this. So when you know why you're late, when you get to the root problem of why you're late, why you procrastinate, you can uproot that identity and begin to change. In my marriage, I love being transparent. I would always tell Sydney, like, babe, this is just how I am. This is just who I am. And over the course of time, I started to break down that model of how I am and start to build up a new image. See, your habits will fall at the level of how you see yourself. Your habits will always fall to the level of how you see yourself. See, your self-image, how you see you is going to determine how other people see you. When you start seeing yourself as chairman, other people start to see you as chairman. You got two types of people. One person says, I'm trying to stop smoking. Another person says, I no longer smoke. One person says, I'm trying to stop. One person says, I no longer do. The person that says, I no longer do has disassociated themselves from the identity of a smoker, of whatever the habit used to be. See, as long as you can identify yourself, this is so good. I laugh at myself sometimes. When you can identify yourself as being a thing, you can now start to act in alignment with that belief. You can start, this is so good. Identity. The word identity is derived from the Latin word essentitas. That's where the word identity comes from, right? And the word essentitas means being. It means being. Another word is, I don't know how to pronounce this word. Identitum or something like that. These are Latin words, right? So what identity means when you break it down, it means your identity is your literal repeated beingness. Your repeated beingness. Your repeated beingness. See, the more you repeat a behavior, the more you enforce the identity associated with that behavior. So the more you show the plan, the more you reinforce the identity of I'm a presenter. See, the more Steph Curry shot the basketball, or in this case, Penny Hardaway, the more Penny Hardaway shot the basketball, he didn't identify himself as somebody that just shoots. He identified himself as a shooter because this is what he does repeatedly. Identity, your repeated beingness. Wow, every belief about yourself is learned and conditioned through experience. Learned and conditioned through experience. So whatever you think about yourself, whether it's right, wrong, good, bad, or indifferent, it comes through experience. You either heard somebody saying this about you all the time, you engage in activities of surrounding this thing all the time. And over the course of time, through experience, you gain these beliefs about yourself. And watch this, my experience is my evidence. Write that down. My experience is my evidence. So whatever your identity is, you only believe it because you have proof of it. Because my identity is my evidence. So whatever I believe about myself, I only believe it because I have proof of it. And your mind will adopt whatever evidence you put in front of it. Your mentality, your mindset will adopt whatever evidence you choose to put in front of it. So if you put evidence in front of your mind that you are a chairman, that you do what chairmen do, all this kind of stuff, then you're going to start identifying yourself with one because of the proof of the thing that you have, which is your evidence. Your identity, the core of who you are, is so more important than what you do. Who you are is more important than what you do. So when you really break it down, who am I? Why am I the way that I am? Why do I procrastinate? Why am I lazy sometimes? Because if you're a lazy person, I need you to listen to me. If you're a lazy person, just naturally, you're lazy. Everybody know you're lazy. When you make up in your mind that you want to start showing the plan, it's not you showing the plan that's going to change your life. It's going to be you changing the core of being lazy that's going to change your life. Because how you do anything is how you do everything. So if you're lazy in your habits every single day outside of business, you're going to be lazy when it comes to business. Me and my close friend, Jalen Reeves-Maven, who plays with the Detroit Lions, we played at Tennessee together. We were roommates, right? And we would all, when people would get like hurt on the field or something bad would happen, they just got mossed on, or, you know, they just having a bad day at practice, we would always say, they ain't living life right. We would always say that. Like it would be out of comedy, out of just whatever, just joking, oh, they not living life right. But you realize how literal that really is. You realize how literal and how true that really is. See, if somebody outside of business is not producing, they're not getting the results that they want, nothing is going their way, everything is breaking down, a lot of times it's because they're not living life right. Not meaning that they're doing something negative, they're just not living life right. They're just not doing things right. They don't have their identity right. They don't have their habits right. They don't have their actions right. So because none of this stuff is right, everything around them is going wrong. Is your life a river or is your life a flood? That's something else that I learned from a football coach. He would always tell us, when he walked past your locker, he will be able to identify, is your life a river or a flood? Because the players who had the clean lockers, or whose lockers just wasn't a mess like everybody else, he could look at your locker and tell if you were a starter or not. Because the starters, the people that produce, they had a different set of habits. They had different type of beliefs. They really believe that, yo, if I have a clean locker, I'm put together in this locker room, then when I get to the field, everything is going to move in alignment. Because it's not that I want to clean my locker every day. I'm a professional. So professionals have clean lockers every day. So at the core, who are you? Are you somebody that just, wants to read a book, or do you want to become a reader? Because when you become a reader, you can pull information, pick information, start applying this stuff to your life. And we start applying it to your life, you can start teaching people because you got a result from it. See, everything that I talk about, a lot of this stuff is revelation. God gave me a lot of stuff, but a majority of this stuff is stuff that I've read. It's stuff that I've experienced in my life. And so because I've experienced it, applied it, I now have the credibility to teach you. I now have the credibility to talk to people about it because I did it. You teach what you know, but you reproduce who you really are. So at the core, who are you? Who are you? Because if you want to change your results, it's going to come from you first changing your habits. But before you can change your habits, you have to change the core, your identity, how you see you, your self-image, because your habits shape your identity, and your habits shape your identity, right? But your identity shapes your habits, and your habits are what brings you the results. So there's like a two-edged street here. My habits shape who I am, but my identity shapes my habits. Do you see how it's a two-way street? It's a two-way street. So again, you're not going to get ahead by just trying to change the result, trying to change the volume, trying to change the back office, trying to change what people do. That's not going to get you ahead. Presenting more, showing the plan more, Yeah, that's only going to get you ahead so far. But when you become a presenter, when you become a chairman, when you become a shooter, when you become an athlete, when you become a clean person, when you become, would you want integrity is the root of leadership. Integrity is the root of leadership. Write that down. Integrity is the root of leadership. So knowing that integrity is the root of leadership, do I want to just focus on, telling the truth, living life with good character every single day? Or do I want to just become an integrous person? I just want to become an integrous person, because when I become a person of integrity, everything that I do, because it's the core of who I am, I produce from my core. So because I'm a person of integrity, everything I do it with integrity. I'm not trying to be honest. I'm an honest person at my core. It's the core of who I am. Is this making sense to y'all? Y'all picking up what I'm putting down? Because again, think about this. I'm sitting here on my laptop. I got my Mac right here, right? And if I wanted to print something, I print something out of the computer. Once I print it out, I can't change, I can't edit anything on the paper. Why? Because the identity of the paper has taken on like new whatever. Like what's on the paper is there because of what I put into the Microsoft Word or whatever I put onto the paper, whatever software system I use. But once it comes out, I can't erase it. I can't edit anything. For me to edit it, I got to go back into the computer, back into the hard drive to then make my edits. So speaking of edit, did you know that you can always edit your beliefs? You can always edit how you view the world. You can always change how you see you. The thing about this apple, this lemon, this core, it has to remain. Ah, that's so good. This has to remain. This JVL has to remain. It can never change. Never. This particular seed inside this apple can never change. An animal, a lion, tiger, bear can never change, can never evolve. What's so powerful about the human species is that when God created us, he gave us the thing that we did not have to pay anything for, but it's produced everything that we see in the world today. That is our mind. Listen, we didn't have to pay. It's the most undervalued, underrated attribute of a human being. It's the mind. So underrated. You wanna know why it's underrated? Because we didn't pay anything for it. I just got a new iPhone 12. What, $1,400? Some people values this phone more than they value their mind, without having the understanding that it was my mind that created this. Did you know that your mind created this? Yeah, your mind. Well, Riyad, what you mean my mind created this? Well, have you ever seen the human mind before? Have you saw any picture of the human mind before? Can you draw out what the actual human mind looks like? Absolutely not. You want to know why? Because the mind is spirit. See, the brain is not the mind. The mind is spirit. We all have the same mind. We just have different expressions of how we utilize our mind. Jeff Bezos from Amazon utilized his mind. He arranged his mind to create Amazon. Jeff Bezos used his mind. Remember, we all got the same mind. It's just different arrangements, different expressions. Jeff Bezos used his mind to create Amazon. Elon Musk arranged his mind, had experiences as a child, arranged his mind to want to do SpaceX, to want to do PayPal, to want to do Tesla. Same mind. Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, they arranged their mind to be the greatest players in the world, but we all have the same one. Nobody's ever saw it before. So because God has blessed us with the most creative tool in the whole entire world of creation, the mind, we have the ability to evolve. That's what I'm getting at. We have the ability to evolve. See, this lemon / apple, it can't evolve. It has to remain. A lion, it has to remain who it is, what it is, and it has to stay in its current habitats. It doesn't know like that I can go, like it doesn't know that, it doesn't pick that up. The mind of an animal doesn't have the faculty to create. See, as human beings, we have the power to create. So that means we have the power to change our situations and our circumstances at will. We just got to recognize the power in what we have. We got to recognize the power in what we have. Because again, the way that you view the world, your set of beliefs, your self-beliefs, the assumptions that you make, the biases that you have, all stem from the core of who you are, your identity. So as you begin to build a positive self-image, begin to see yourself how, you see yourself how you see the winners. What if you start doing that every single day? See, people don't have a hard time believing that David can get a jet. Like nobody on this call doubts that David's going to have a jet. None of us doubt that. But if we can believe that he can have a jet, why is it so hard for people to believe they can go chairman? Want to know why? Because we see people higher, better than we do ourselves, not realizing that we all have the same mind. So the same mind that David has, that's allowed him to earn $50 million. 50 million is the same mind that you have. The same mind that Chris Terry has that allowed him to build this amazing company, become a billionaire, over $100 million in Bitcoin alone. You have the same mind. You have the same mind. The difference is how we choose to utilize it. The difference in successful people and unsuccessful people is simply the way in which they see themselves, their identity. Because again, the more I identify with something, the more I align with that belief. So if I identify myself as a clean person, I do what clean people do. If I identify myself as a chairman, I do what chairmen do. If I identify myself as a millionaire, I do what millionaires do. And as I repeatedly do this, a habit gets created. As I repeatedly do this, a habit is what gets created. Now, why is this so important? Because when something becomes habit, give it to me how you said it. When something becomes a habit, all extra thinking is scratched out. See, the reason why you don't get up and go work out is because it's so much thinking involved with you working out. The reason why you haven't started showing the plan yet is because there's so much thinking involved with you showing the plan. The reason why you don't trade consistently, because it's so much thinking involved with you trading consistently. But when something becomes a habit, all of the thinking, it gets scratched out and you do it automatically. That's what David calls automatic success. You just do it automatically because there's no thinking involved. See, it don't like doing calls like this. There's no thinking involved. Why? Because this is what I do. It's who I am. I do this. And because I've done it so much, it became a part of me. Every Monday since 2017, I've been right here. The backgrounds have changed over the years, but I've been right here in the same seat. I've had this seat since 2016, been in the same chair, presenting showing the plan, doing trainings, doing calls, helping people believe since 2017, 2016, to be honest with you, right? So that's 5 years. I started this industry at 23 years old. Tomorrow in 45 minutes, 55 minutes, I'll be 28. So that's 5 years of doing one thing consistently. Without caring, watch this, so much about the result. You want to know why? Because I fell in love with process. I fell in love with the systems that I need to have a part of my life to get the results that I really, really want to have. Did you know? Let's take a goal, right? Let's take a goal. The problem with goals is that winners and losers, they have the same exact goals. Y'all know that? Y'all know there's been people in y'all business that had a goal, wrote something down to go chairman, but they still didn't go chairman. They quit the business, but they still had a goal. They still wrote it down. So it's not goal setting that actually separates people. That's a part of it. The part that matters the most is process. The part that matters the most is the systems in which you follow to create the goal that you want. Because let's just say you were the coach of an NFL football team, and your goal for the year was winning the Super Bowl. Did you know that if you never talk to your organization about winning the Super Bowl, but every single day you did what Super Bowl winning teams do, did you know that you would still be in position to win a Super Bowl? Because it's not the goal, it's process. And so many people overestimate the event, the goal, and underestimate process. They underestimate process. Just because you write something down, that don't just mean it's going to happen. It's going to happen because you fell in love with process. Over time, doing the work that's required to get the goal that you desire. You can set a goal for chairman, not talk about it to anybody. Watch this. You can set a goal for chairman and not even write it down. Listen to me. If you just fell in love with process, you identified yourself as a chairman and did what chairmen do every single day, your goal will still happen for you. That don't mean don't write it down, though. I'm just trying to prove a point. It's process that matters. It's systems that matter. Your day-to-day systems, your DMO, your daily method of operation, your day-to-day habits. We are what we repeatedly do. Our identity, we are, is found in what we do every single day. We are what we repeatedly do. Our identity is found in what we do every single day. So what you do every single day, what you look at every single day, what you listen to every single day, what you read every single day determines the type of person that you are. Without you even telling me what kind of person you are. What you do every single day tells me what kind of person you are. So many people want to change this, but they don't change the core. You got to understand, we produce from the core. We produce from who we really are. We reproduce from who we really are. Y'all want to know the crazy part? Let's say this was a bad seed. Let's say this was a bad seed. When I go, or if I were to go plant, take this seed and go plant it, y'all know it'll produce a bad harvest. This seed, take it, go put it somewhere else in the ground. If it's a bad seed, it's going to produce a bad harvest. The thing about life, because we have the ability to evolve, let's say somebody called you a bad seed. Let's say somebody called you a mistake. Personal testimony, speaking of mistake. My football coach, never forget it, Coach Martinez, University of Tennessee. I was coming back from an injury, right? I got hurt, tore my leg up pretty bad. I think I told the story here a couple of times. Tore my leg up pretty bad. And when I got hurt, when I came back, I wasn't the same player that I was. So he called me a mistake, right? He looked at me in my eyes and told me that I was a mistake, right? So for 2 weeks, I identified myself as being a mistake because he told me that. So watch this. You are not limited by your surroundings. You're not limited by what people say to you, what people tell you. You're limited by if you start to believe it. That's what's going to limit you. When you start to believe it and you start to repeat it. What he didn't know is that he may have saw me as a mistake, and I may have identified myself at the time as a mistake for 2 weeks. I'll never forget, worst 2 weeks I've had to practice. But because we have the ability to evolve, tell me who's the mistake now. Tell me who's the mistake now. We can evolve. So just because one person sees you in a certain way, that does not mean you have to identify with how they see you, because you will be limited by how they see you only if you internalize it and start to believe it. But if you identify yourself as a winner, as a champion, as chosen, as called, as marked, as a success, as a millionaire, the more you identify yourself to that thing, the more you're going to start to act into alignment into that thing. And the thing about acting, right? When you start acting so much, and when you first start to thinking about it, you might not believe it. I can imagine when Michael B. Jordan got the role for Without Remorse and they told him what it was going to be, blah, 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 blah. The day he got the script, he probably didn't believe it. It probably took him some time to finally get into character. So it might take you some time to get into character. You know how you do that? You do that by acting. You do that by action. And as you begin to do that, your action is going to determine your identity. And you're going to start producing from the core of who you really are. See, because he saw himself as, I think his name was John Kelly, because he identified himself as John Kelly in the movie, he produced from the idea that he's John Kelly. So with that being said, understand that you produce from the core, and you can't change the results in your life by trying to change the outside. That's only going to give you momentarily results. Your results will be short term. But if you change the habits, or if you change your identity, which will then change the habits, the results in every single area of your life will change. I'm telling you, don't be shallow-minded. Don't just apply this to your business. Apply this in every area of your life and watch what happens. You want to change your eating habits? Don't try to eat better. Identify yourself with the person that has a healthy diet. You want to start working out more? Don't just try to just go work out a couple of times a week. Identify yourself as an athlete or whatever you want to say to make yourself feel better about the thing you're doing. You want to present. You want to become a better presenter. Don't just present. Identify yourself as the best presenter. Like Steph Curry. He doesn't just shoot the ball. He's a shooter. All right. So I love you all. Let's have an amazing week. Thank you all so much I saw the birthday wishes in the comments. Thank y'all so much, man. Just know the birthday party will be Saturday at 9 a.m. at the Marriott Gateway. It's going to be an all-day party. It's called Skills Camp. So if you want to have a good time, you want to party, make sure you're at the party Skills Camp this weekend. I love you all. See you at the bank. God bless.